Yo, yo, what is up, Zach?
How's it going, guys?
Fantastic. Welcome back to the Long and Thick podcast. We are joined by Zack Henderson, affectionately known as the Nashville strength coach. Man's got 13 years of strength training experience. He's coached powerlifters and Spartan racers alike. He has done help instruct strong first certifications, and he says he just loves helping everyday folks discover and develop their strength. Also, the mastermind behind Liftapalooza, a strength
Mm,
summit here in Nashville. So, Zach, what the hell is up, dude?
Oh, man. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Of
It's
course.
always fun, really just getting to nerd out with my fellow Nashville folks. So I'm
Hmm.
super happy to be here.
right
Nice.
on,
Well,
man.
how did you get started in your fitness journey? Where is step one for Zach Henderson?
Yeah, man. Well, gosh, I think there was many false starts if I'm being honest. Uh
Hmm.
I did pretty much every like little league sports growing up, and to be fair, I was pretty terrible at all of them. Um, Not really naturally athletically gifted. My hand-eye coordination is pretty hit and miss. In fact, in Little League baseball, I got hit with the ball more times than I actually hit the
Hit the
ball.
ball.
So at
Take
least
a
I got on
break. You got to
base.
stay in front of it, though. I mean, that's the first point.
Yeah. So all that to say, sports and working out was never really anything I was into growing up. Um, but kind of fast forwarding, really where things started picking up in earnest. It's probably I was 20 or 21 years old, kind of wrapping up college. And to be fair, I kind of just hit a point in my life, a point in my maturity where, quite frankly, I was like, I need to get my shit together.
Mm,
I was eating like garbage. I was probably drinking even worse. And as this time kind of came, where it was like, okay, school is coming to a close and real life is starting to set in.
mm,
It was kind of one of those existential oh shit moments.
Hmm.
Because I'm a pretty good student. Like if you put a book in front of me and tell me to read it and take a test on it, I can do that. I can do that all day. So
Hmm.
honors student, check. President,
Sure.
principal's list, check. Perfect attendance, check. Um, but I knew that just following the rules and checking the boxes was not gonna cut it in real life. So
mm,
I kind of just hit this point where I really went on like a self development kind of rabbit hole, and fitness and health kind of came part and parcel with that. Um, so yeah, I would say my early 20s, I just really started getting into. I mean, honestly, back in the day, it was forums. It
mm.
was fitness forums, lifting forums. Obviously, the bodybuilding.com forum
Yeah.
Of
Were you a
was.
course.
T Nation guy too?
Of course. Of course. T Nation,
Yeah.
bodybuilding.com, Dragon Door, Mark's
Mm,
Daily Apple, CrossFit, you
Hmm.
know, all these kind of subcultures that were kind of building off of lifting, of course, the budding paleo movement, the CrossFit
mm,
movement. I was just in all those forums. I was on all those websites. And that's kind of really what started opening my eyes to all these different cultures under the umbrella of like fitness that really just kind of started scratching this itch of, well, what am I going to do to occupy both my personal time and
mhm.
eventually my professional time?
Hmm.
So that's really where it started, is just the internet, as I'm sure it does with a lot of
Were
folks.
Was anything in your academic career pointing toward anything fitness or athletic at all yet at that point?
No, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. In fact, I mean, really, when I first started getting into fitness and then eventually, like, asking like friends and family, hey, do you guys want to work out? Do you want to like help
Mm,
me, coach and help me kind of develop my skill set? I just got a lot of raised eyebrows and a lot of, what are you talking about? Fitness, working out, like where did this come from? So yeah, it was something that I don't want to say that I was like swimming against the current, but these are all things that just didn't exactly come naturally to me in my path of either, schooling or even, really a history of, hobbies or personal interest. It
Yeah.
kind of came up. Other people might say seemingly out of nowhere, but again, it was just kind of part of, as cheesy it is to say, I think just my journey of, just kind of growing up and figuring out what I wanted to do with my life. So
Yeah. That's awesome. Where were you at this point? Like, where did you go to school? Where were you living? And are you from Nashville originally? Remind me.
No. So I'm originally from Chatham, Virginia, and that particular geographical point is gonna come in handy a little bit later. I decided to go out of state to school to a place that at the time nobody had heard of, Appalachian State University, in Boone, North Carolina.
Boone, yeah.
Which is, gosh, I miss it all the time. Just a really, really beautiful place. And we got put on the map when I was there. It was actually my sophomore year. Our little, Bush League football team beat the top-ranked Michigan Wolverines in what is generally considered the greatest upset in college sports history.
Dang.
Holy shit.
And like from there, like our football team was kind of unstoppable. So all that to say, it was a fun time.
Oh, I bet.
To be at App State. But yeah, so I actually studied music and business in school. So in high school, I played I played a lot of classic rock. I did a little stint in a gospel bluegrass band.
Nice.
And then in college, I really kind of got serious, quote unquote, and started studying classical music. So all that to say, and of course, like being like a dude in Nashville, it's like, oh, of course you play guitar, right? So there's that. But I will say, like the discipline and the rigor and the attention to detail that studying music and specifically classical music like kind of demands did kind of set the stage for the attention to detail and the style of like, again, just like taking things like a little piece at a time and that eye for mastery. Obviously all that kind of came in handy down the road. So again, by the time I was like getting close to graduate, I was like, a degree in music, and what's that gonna get you? Okay, so I'll kind of spare you that whole like side quest, but all that to say, obviously I still love music and I'm passionate about it, and it's a big part of my life. But professionally, I was like, okay, let me at least not put all my eggs in this basket, and let me start kind of diversifying my skill set. Again, into something that I'm passionate about. And fitness was just kind of the natural thing. So, so in any case, I moved back home after a little stint in California. And as I was getting more and more into fitness, the kettlebell just kind of kept popping up. And that's what led me to find Gray Cook of FMS fame. And where I said that Chatham, Virginia comes back into the picture, is I was obviously like living at home, and Gray Cook and I are from the same hometown. So I literally just emailed him out of the blue, and I was like, "Can you help a brother out?" And so he kind of he passed me off to some of his trainers, his coaches that were working at his facility as PT and strength coach guys. And those were the guys who really like were my real first in-person mentors when it came to strength, movement, kettlebells. so that was like the big kind of aha moment. Oh, suddenly I figured out this guru is literally in my backyard,
Yeah.
and that gave me a big in.
Yeah. I was going to ask where your first like exposure to somebody who really could start to blow the doors open for you in terms of like, here's just the beginning of what you're getting into. Like, let me show you behind door number 2 kind of deal. Cause it sounds like it was very, um, exploratory and like sparse, and like you said, hey, can I work out with you, or do you want to come train with me here, and I found this workout online, like let's run through it together and sort of fuck around and find out. And now you're getting like the ball really rolling in a way that is like, oh, okay, there's a lot, there can be a lot to this. And you get the glimmer in your eye and you go, oh shit, okay, I think there's something enticing about this that's going to pull me in. um yeah. So what was like the development from there? So you're home, you're getting exposed to that kind of stuff. The mind's getting blown. You're probably getting stronger, like exploring new stuff, right? The kettlebell keeps popping up. Like, where are we next in the path?
Yeah, so that's really where things started taking off in earnest. So I was, again, for lack of a better term, still like immersing myself in like the the lifting cultures
Hmm.
that we're getting exposed to like on the internet. Because again, I'm from like a podunk town. I mean, I'm talking like there's just tobacco fields and cow pastures and Gray Cook, and that's kind of that's kind of it.
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, like through this time, for about a year, I was training with a guy named Brad out of Gray Cook's office, and it was pretty much just like, here's, he kind of gave me the crash course on like how the FMS worked, gave me the crash course on like kettlebells, powerlifting, club bells, um, the whole mobility, stability, strength, trifecta pyramid, how all these things are like coming
the
together.
Venn diagram.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so it was a pretty cool like learning by osmosis, and then it was also like, hey, here, read this book. Here's a DVD. This YouTube was still kind of getting some traction in terms of like people putting out like really valuable stuff on YouTube. It was like, here's some creators to follow. And then again, just like training with Brad was just like, drinking from a fire hose. And the more I kind of got into the kettlebell stuff, the more I kind of started seeing like, okay, this is gaining traction. More and more people are generally interested in strength, in functional movement, and in the kettlebell. So that also was kind of scratching my business and my career itch, where I was like, okay, if I've been kind of handed this opportunity, certainly not getting on like the ground floor of this stuff, because there you'd be talking about folks who were in it like 10, 12 years beforehand.
Sure.
But for me, I'm like, okay, I can see how I can put my passion into my career, or maybe vice versa. So that's really where I kind of just doubled down. I was like, all right, man, I am training. I'm working out myself. I'm training as many people as I can get my hands on. And then, yeah, like I said, about a year or so after working with those guys, they encouraged me to go get, kettlebell certified. And so there's kind of a track of kettlebell certification that's a little hardcore and something that you kind of got to put some time and effort into actually training for. And so I eventually did that and got my certifications over the course of 2011 and 2012.
Yeah.
And then I got my
Can you
first
break
big boy
down
job.
some of the process of that? Because people who don't know how intense that is, I think will be surprised. Like you said, you have to train for it. And I know from talking to you and some other folks that have gone through it, like the first time I heard it, I was like, "Oh shit, that is a doozy." Like just some of the snippets that stick out to you of like, here are some of the things that qualify you.
For sure, for sure. So if I'm speaking kind of in generalities, there's kind of a style of kettlebell lifting called like hard style kettlebell. So in the same way that like you can lift a barbell any old way you want, but if you want to do powerlifting, you kind of got to do it like this. It's kind of the same basic idea with kettlebells. So for these certifications, you basically come in and you, over the course of 3 days, you're really mastering and going deep on 6 big movements: the swing, the clean, the snatch, the military press, the squat, and I'm missing one.
Turkish
Did I say how could I forget the Turkish get-up? Of course, the old TGU. So in any case, just imagine like 3 days of just like just getting as nerdy as possible on every potential technique point on all of those 6 lifts. And then at the end of the weekend, you're being tested out. So you're being tested on like your technique, how technically proficient you are at performing all these moves. And then there are strength tests. So like you have to like press a certain like fraction of your body weight. Over the course of years, they I think they shift what the actual standards are. But by the end of those 3 days, you're pretty trashed. You're thrashed and trashed.
Imagine, yeah.
But the big bugaboo that is kind of the stuff of legend is the 5-minute snatch test. So that's where you take your kettlebell of, let's see, to give you perspective, at the time, I was 140, I was probably 145 pounds, and I had to snatch a 24 kilogram kettlebell. So that's about 53 pounds. 100 times in 5 minutes. Which, when you say
same
it doesn't
arm or
really
alternating.
You can switch hands as many times as you want to. That wasn't always the rule, to be fair. But again, just saying it like on paper, that doesn't sound that bad. But when you do it to like technical perfection and like you're doing it in front of like these like hard ass instructors, it's pretty wild. Especially
will they just call will they call a no rep on something and be like, no, that was dog shit, like that doesn't count?
Yeah, if you have like a shaky overhead lockout, no rep. Or if your elbow's a little bent, no rep.
Yeah, like sweet 44, 44, 44,
yeah.
44. Cool, dude.
And that happens. That happens to people.
No.
And
I bet.
Like,
and the longer you go, the more fucked up it's going to get because you're racing, you're nervous, you're sweaty, and after 3 days worth, it's like, how dialed in can you get? So that's intense. That is.
I'm getting sweaty palms just thinking about it. But yeah,
I bet.
As a strong first instructor now, are you now part of that judging and certification process as well? Are you on the other side after being hazed to get in?
Off and on, yes. Now, I will say to assist and instruct at a workshop or certification, you also have to do a quick recertification yourself. So a lot of this stuff is like you're not totally out of the weeds practically ever.
You're never grandfathered in. I gotcha.
Not really. So again, I back like pre-COVID, when there was a lot more events going on, I was doing a lot more assistant instructing at those certifications. These days, I've really only done a handful, and it's it's mostly like you do like this, you do the certification, and then you help teach it, and then you help teach it again. Strong First is a big place where I kind of hang my hat and I kind of plant my flag, and I'm like, I've gotten so much out of the curriculum and the company and all the coaches and whatnot. But I'm also not someone who is like staking my career on being a strong first instructor, and some folks are. And so I want to be respectful and forthright with the fact that like it's something that I kind of do like here and there, like where I'm needed. But there are people who they are strong first, front, back, and sideways.
Back
And
piece, tattoo, dedication.
Yeah.
exactly. And so for me, it's a great, it's a great thing to be involved and associated with. And I always point, trainers and enthusiasts to strong first. But at the same time, and this might be a whole nother like line of conversation. I think it's also something that a lot of trainers need to be careful about, to like not attach your ego and not attach your career and your name to a certification or a couple letters after your name or any other thing that like you can't control like what they say or do. and B, that like your clients don't know or don't care about.
Yeah.
So I also
and not
really try to keep that
shoehorn
in
them
mind.
into appreciating it, even though they have no interest in doing it.
Exactly. I've trained a lot of folks up to like get ready for those certifications, but it's not something that I push on anybody.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Someone with a specific interest has to seek you out and your expertise. You're not like, hey, guys, come one, come all. We got to do some certifications kind of thing.
Right. Exactly.
Now, we're still kind of going through the arc that led you here. For those who don't know you, you balance an awful lot of fitnessy things in the industry, personal pursuits, passion pursuits, things like that. So you coach athletes, and you've done that in a very dynamic capacity, both in powerlifting, which is very structured, very regimented. Now, also, you would marry that with functional fitness, and talking about being super dynamic is things like Spartan races, things that have a lot more detail and necessity for, safety, various types of movements. How do you balance those, coaching both those athletes, and where do you see your docket holding the most weight on either side of that balance?
Yeah, good question. Well, to kind of answer that and to maybe go to like the next step in the timeline, I worked at a Lifetime Fitness in Charlotte, North Carolina for a number of years. And while I was there, it was kind of an interesting dynamic because it wasn't one of these like 3-story Lifetime Fitnesses. It was a little gym chain that had gotten bought out by Lifetime. And so we kind of could fly under the radar and kind of do our own thing. And we weren't as, bound to, I think, a lot of the corporate red tape as much as like a lot of these other big box gyms were. So like, let's be honest. As long as the managers were seeing like the bottom line come in, they didn't really care what you did. So
yeah,
for better or for worse,
black and no one dies, you're good.
Right. For better and sometimes for worse. But in my case, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try to use this opportunity to do my own thing as much as possible while still being an employee. So my kind of 3-pronged attack going into it was, obviously I'm going to kind of stake my reputation, my unique positioning or unique the USP, in business terms. I'm really going to double down on the kettlebell. There's really, especially at the time, there wasn't a lot of people doing it. So we started the kettlebell class, and then that got people kind of, okay, interested. What's this guy up to? Again, and I don't really want to, go too far down this particular line, but I'm like the smallest guy in the gym. Okay. Like this was the gym where like at UNC Charlotte, like all like the football guys worked out in, and, hey, just down there around Charlotte, there's a lot of like, beefy cornbread fed kind of dudes around.
Oh, yeah.
And especially when you're talking about like the guys who are actually like making a living as trainers, 10, 15 years ago, these are big, strong dudes. And here I
early
am,
boys.
And then I come, hopping in with my, kettlebell t-shirt on, and I'm like, hey guys, like we're here to change the game. So again, I had maybe a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, but I had to bring something unique to the gym. And the first thing was kettlebells. The second thing was powerlifting. I had kind of just started getting into powerlifting, and then that I was at a fully stocked gym, and in a city where there was like powerlifting meets going on. Started a little powerlifting team. So we had a kettlebell class, we had a powerlifting team, and Spartan racing at the time was huge, and there was always races going on around North and South Carolina. And I was like, great, another event that people can put on their calendar, that they can, that'll give them some motivation to get in the gym. So started a little Spartan race training team. And so it's really not a story of like powerlifting athletes and quote unquote hybrid athletes coming to me as much as it was casting as wide of a net as possible, training people generally to be stronger, and then saying, hey, if you're into this, we have a powerlifting team. If you're into this, we've got a Spartan race training team. If you like this, you can come swing kettlebells. And so then that kind of sprung into, okay, fast forward a few years down the road, I've got, one guy who's a top ranked Spartan racer in his, age class. And I have another gal who's a nationally ranked powerlifting competitor. And then that grows. And so then those clients and those students attract their friends, and that reputation kind of grows and grows. So that was kind of like the little behind the scenes of like how powerlifting, Spartan racing kind of came into the picture. It was really just me taking advantage of the opportunities that were just really around Charlotte that could get people engaged. So, I think it's easy to overlook the power of community, and especially how well like CrossFit does it.
Yeah.
And if you're a trainer and you're existing outside of the CrossFit ecosystem, it behooves you to take it upon yourself to like try to recreate as much of those communal and social touch points that are kind of built into the CrossFit system on your own, however you can hack it.
Yeah, that's really smart. Like that, there's a lot of gold in what you just broke down, because you explained that you didn't come from, you're coming from music, right? So it's not like you were like from 5 years old, I want to like bench press and whatever and be super strong. So you saw the opportunity and just made it happen. Like, you didn't necessarily have a deep burning passion for Spartan races, but it's like, hey, there's these people that have an interest in it. That big wide net gets anybody who's just wanting to get fit in the door. And now as they start to like learn more about themselves and make friends, and like you said, those communal components that are like, hey, do you want to go do this thing together? Oh, sure. I never thought I would run a half, but we've been working with this guy and now we're going to do it. Or do you want to run a Spartan race? Or, you want to compete at a power lift? Like, we're pretty built, whatever. So that is a big gold business nugget for how people can approach like getting even their own ideas like facilitated in what things they might be passionate about. And I think leads into an interesting next question. So you had so much exposure and like different types of athletics with these, specifics. And you also said that it's not really that wise to super staple yourself to like the name of I'm an FRC master, blah, 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 unless you like work for them and that's your whole bread and butter. But that's like a handful of people, right? There's a handful of people at the Strong First that are like the people. And to get into that is like, is that really your best move financially, time wise, all the things? Like maybe if it's like deep within you, sure. But it sounds like you recognize that early enough that people are not just going to want to attach themselves to that. And so like, how can you meet them where they're at and still introduce really good stuff? So now can you give us a look at like what your spread of people that you work with currently looks like, and you know how you've sort of honed your eagle eye to see like, hey, maybe this person might fit a little bit better over here, or you know, some of those things. Daniel's ready.
I just needed that. I need to crowbar something in really fast. So I want to hear exactly that. But then two, how long have you been in Nashville?
Yes.
We got to get to home base as expediently as possible, and then answer Ronnie's question, please.
True.
Yeah. Well, no, it's great because one feeds right into the next. So let's see. So Nashville really came up when a lot of other things kind of came together. One is, you know, again, I was having a great time at Lifetime Fitness, but I knew that was not the long-term place for me. And nor did I really think that Charlotte was like the long-term, you know, place for me. You know, for whatever reason, I was kind of like, you know, this is great, like great opportunity. But again, once I hit about, you know, 4 years there, it was kind of like, I feel like I've done practically all I can do. You know what I mean? And I had a great stable of clients. But, you know, just showing up to work with a name tag, there's just a little piece of my soul that just kind of died every time.
That you put it on, looking in the mirror.
And you know what? The fact that my name was misspelled also did not help.
Oh.
And like, hey guys, can I get like
we'll get you a new one. We'll get you a new one. It's on the way. It's on the way.
It's in the mail.
Yeah.
It's in the mail. 2 years later, I should be here any day now. Great.
It's probably stuck in Guam, but it's awesome. There.
Thanks. So you kind of just look around, and I'm just like, man, you know, if I'm ever gonna like do my own thing, I really just need to make it a priority. So all that to say, that was kind of swimming around in my mind as well. Like, what's kind of the next step there? And even though I sounded a little dismissive about music, I was also in a fledgling rock band at the time. And we came out to Nashville to meet up with the producer and, you know, look at recording spaces and that whole thing. And the other guitar player, whose band it was like, man, he's like, I'm moving to Nashville. And I said, you know what? I am too. So, fast forward a couple months from there, you know, I quit Lifetime, you know, kind of tried my hand at online training with, you know, some of my old clients who like really wanted to like stick around. But apart from that, I moved into town
for music,
blank canvas, totally blank slate. And I was like, all right, let's see if we can, you know, pay some bills with fitness. But otherwise, like, you know, we're rehearsing, we're you know, bringing in folks to kind of round out the band. And so all that to say, made the move to Nashville in 2016 and bounced around through a few different gyms. Found a great community at Southern Squeeze, which is where I worked and where I met and worked with Molly Morris, friend of the show.
Shout out Molly.
Yeah, Molly's amazing. So she was kind of like one of my early kind of friends and fellow trainer mentors, I would say, here in town. And she kind of opened my eyes to the FRC side of things. And obviously she became a a great kettlebell instructor herself. But in any case, all that to say, my first couple years in Nashville, we're kind of doing half and half. We're kind of doing, fitness by day, music by night, and the band was fun. It was great. But Daniel, as I'm sure you know, managing a band is like managing the most dysfunctional family of all time.
Yeah.
So
it's like herding cats. It doesn't work very well.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So in any case, for a number of reasons, unfortunately, the band didn't work out. But basically, by that time, that we had been in Nashville for a couple years, I had started to establish a pretty decent in-person clientele. And I was also doing more and more online. Because again, one of the lessons I kind of learned with moving to a new city is starting from scratch is really not fun. And the only way to kind of buffer that is to have some sort of online presence, some sort of online a business. So really got to work on like the whole social media side of things when I got into town as well. And yeah, so again, over the course of time, I kind of built up a clientele here in Nashville that's honestly been the vast majority just everyday folks in their, usually 50s to 70s who just want to stay in good shape. And when I say stay in good shape, and I have no bones about saying this, the vast majority of people who I work with here in town, like, they've already been through CrossFit, other personal trainers, Pilates, yoga, lifting, bodybuilding, athletic training, small group, etc. And so, yeah, I'm kind of the guy who's there to like make sure that like the fitness and the strength that they built up in their 20s, 30s, 40s, that they keep and build off of later in life. So that kind of emerged as something that that I also just take a lot of pride and have a lot of passion around is, just really making sure that fitness, strength, cardiovascular health, mobility is kind of quite literally built into these people's healthcare plan. So
it should be in everybody's, which it's crazy that it's not.
Of course. So all that to say, especially like once COVID hit, I really again just kind of doubled down on in-home, in-person training. So these days, most of my time is just kind of spent driving around Nashville and hanging out, working out in my clients' homes. And certainly not a solution for everybody. But for those who have a little bit of equipment at home and, don't mind me knocking on your door at like 7 a.m., it's a solution for some. And so again, I've been really lucky and blessed in that sense to, find that group of clients that has kept me busy here in Nashville.
If it's not trademarked, Zach, I think you should just be the kettlebell concierge at that point.
Oh man, I like that.
Just do it. Just run with it. Yeah. All right. So switching gears a little bit, adding even more to the docket and the plate for all the things that you do. Can you tell us a little bit more about Liftapalooza, what that is, where the need developed for you to host this event, and furthermore, what is your next year plan for Liftapalooza, and then what do you want to see out of Liftapalooza, say 10 years from now?
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Well, Liftapalooza has kind of been like my big pet project since these early days of moving to Nashville. Almost 10 years ago now. So when I was at Southern Squeeze, like I said, Maria Becerra was the head coach there, a really awesome person, a really, really great coach. Like I said, Molly Morris was there. And so we really had a great community. We had great programming, super strong folks working out in just this little, tiny, tiny gym. Ronnie, I don't know if you were around for the Southern Squeeze days.
Where's the gym?
So it was on Nolensville Pike.
Okay. Did it ever move to Robertson? Or did like a spin-off of it move to Robertson? On the west side?
Yes. I'm trying. Oh, so Strength Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Vanessa Edwards' gym.
Mm-hmm.
Totally unrelated, but Vanessa is another awesome trainer. She would also be another great guest here.
True.
But no, different gym, different track there. But yeah, it's funny. 2 gyms that have the double S. Yeah, title.
So I know.
But yeah, so at Southern Squeeze, yeah, we were real nerds about lifting and movement and training.
Mm.
And so we kind of just got together and we were like, hey, why don't we just host like a 1-day seminar where we do, where we talk about kettlebells, barbell training / powerlifting, and like mobility training. And that's kind of always been like the theme, like those kind of 3 big things. So Maria and I, and we brought in Jen Milliken, who at the time was like the IPF world, powerlifting champion. She was down in Mount Juliet. We brought her in to
cool.
To teach like the back squat.
Mm.
And then Maria came up with the name. We'll call it the Liftapalooza. We'll call it the Music City Liftapalooza. And I said, that's rad.
Nice job,
so,
Maria.
Yeah. So that's really how it started off, is just a desire to learn more ourselves as coaches by bringing in a guest coach. But then also just by providing an opportunity for both like the members at the gym and the general public, and then also other trainers to like come in and get a unique experience. And so then that just kind of built off of itself year after year. Obviously, COVID put a dent in things for a few years there. But yeah, ever since, we kind of just try to keep building the community, keep getting in really cool guests. So that has now kind of evolved into, this past couple years, we've brought in Ed Cohn, the greatest of all time powerlifter, to come teach. We've brought in Dan John, who's like, a legend in, in our little neck of the training woods. Jordan Syatt, who's hugely influential to me. He was a business mentor of mine. Also, crazy strong guy. He cut his teeth in powerlifting. So brought him in as a guest, and we've had lots of other cool guests come in. And so it really just kind of scratches this itch that I have to like learn from other folks in the industry who either A, like don't really do a lot of workshops and seminars, or B, you would have to get on a plane to go see them.
Right.
So why not bring them here?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the attitude.
Nice. Yeah, they are a lot of fun as someone who has attended. And then what's the 10-year scope? Like, do you have a target on somebody? Do you want I don't know, a UFC fighter to come and teach to the up and budding boxers? Or
yeah, I'm kind of open to all of it. I don't really have a plan past like the next event. Like every year people go like, oh, well, who's coming next year? And like, what's next year going to be like? And I always just say like, give me your feedback. Like, tell me what you liked most about this event. Tell me what you would like to learn more about, who you would like to see, what you would like to experience. And we'll see who answers their email, to be honest.
Fair.
And so that's just kind of how it goes. But I've been super lucky that, again, the majority of the people who I've reached out to be, guest instructors have been game. And I'm tickled pink about it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's killer. Well, I mean, something that is very important to Ronnie and I, and it's something that you've now preempted us at doing by over a decade, which is awesome, to your credit. As we always lament about how the fitness community, and we've talked about at length here, it's in its infancy still in Nashville, especially compared to other large cities. And that the camaraderie and the collaborative nature is very sparse, unfortunately. But you yourself, I mean, you are spearheading the very same opposition. You're trying to bring people together, practitioners, open and sponging minds of the space. What do you see are the largest gaps in the Nashville fitness industry? And what do we need to do to kind of really put Nashville on the map as like an emerging air quote fit town?
Yeah. Great question. Well, I mean, I think first of all, you guys are doing exactly what you need to be doing.
Appreciate that.
Hosting a podcast, hosting, local folks to come have the conversation. So, I mean, you guys know this from being Nashvillians. It's all about who you know. And networks are just built one person at a time. And so in terms of like what the gaps are in terms of like what Nashville needs, I feel like that's maybe a little bit of a loaded question to be asking me, because I feel like Nashville could use more people lifting.
Yeah.
More people lifting kettlebells, more people lifting barbells, more people making being strong cool and attainable. And again, you guys are doing exactly that. This podcast, Ronnie, your work at your office, Daniel, your work, you're putting out great videos.
Thank you, man.
You're there every day at Gym 5, spreading the good word. So I mean, I think you guys are doing your job. And I think to the degree that you can just kind of support other people and light that fire in other people is really all you can do. Because I mean, I think the simple way of putting it is like the trainers who are on board with whatever it is that we're kind of talking about here are going to be on board.
True.
Those who are, I'm not breaking news here, but like to a large degree, Nashville is like, like the Hollywood of the South or whatever they call it.
So 100%.
Right. So fitness has become kind of this environment where people can like cosplay as a lot of things. You can, because you could just get some good angles and some good lighting and an Instagram account, and you're an influencer, you're a trainer, you're, fill in the blank. And so it's funny to see how like fitness has kind of evolved as this pillar of culture, of popular culture, where it's like, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's cool to be a personal trainer, or at least it's cool to like be in shape, or the way that most people probably think about it is like making money just by working out, right? And so I think that can be tempting for like a lot of specifically young, specifically good-looking people who are moving to this city for the glitz and the glamour.
Sure.
And listen, I'll be honest. I'm not excluding myself from that conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's important that we all honor training as like an art and a craft and something that we should take seriously. And there's like a lot of parallels, the more that I think about it, between like the fitness industry and like the music industry. You know what I mean? It's like, I hope I don't ruffle any feathers here, but it's like we took Waylon Jennings and now we have bro country. We took Ed Cohn and now we have fitness influencers. So I think it's incumbent on us who like take this seriously to just keep putting out good information, to keep like supporting other trainers who have that same kind of mindset, to like, always keep learning. Take the craft seriously, but don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
And you can't take likes and views to the bank.
Yeah.
You've got to focus on just helping people, helping regular, everyday people, because those are the ones who need it. And if you would spend a little less time trying to look cool on the internet and a little more time thinking about how you can help the most number of people / how you can help the person who's right in front of you the most, that's a tide that's going to float all boats. And I think that's the attitude that we just got to keep bringing to this whole conversation.
Yeah, that's solid.
Sage advice from the Nashville strength coach himself.
Yeah, man, that is good stuff.
So we do have a signature question for the podcast, and I'm going to let Ronnie roll this one out. Hit him with it.
Okay. Zach, you are having a fabulous, unencumbered day fully to yourself. Where are you in the world, and how are you taking your coffee?
Dig it. Love that question. I'll start with the coffee part first, if I may.
Please.
I am not a coffee snob. I am the farthest thing from a coffee snob. I love coffee.
I respect it.
I can drink anything. It's one of the skills I picked up in college. If it comes in a cup, I can probably put it down. But I will say, my fiance and I took a big trip to Vietnam and South Korea, and let me tell you, this Vietnamese coffee is like what I've been searching for.
Interesting.
I am super into Vietnamese coffee. Traditionally it's served with like condensed milk and over ice and this whole thing. But while we were there, I went on a coffee tour, and so they sent me home with like a bag that I actually just ran out of, so I need to order some more.
But the worst feeling.
These Robusta beans, man.
Next level.
Dude. Insane.
Yeah.
I mean, just the right amount of like punch in the face, but not too bitter. Obviously, it's my understanding that the caffeine content is higher than Arabica beans. So the past few months, I've just been making just black Vietnamese coffee.
Dope. Love it.
Yeah. So
that's
all
your
that
cup.
To say. That's
so
my
wherever
cup.
you are in the world, you're bringing the bean bag with you. So, but where are you going to be?
I'm going with the Nepali coast on Kauai.
Okay.
If you guys are familiar, or if you're not familiar, if you've seen Jurassic Park and you know the scene like where the helicopter is coming in and there's like all these like sea cliffs, around the beach. So that was filmed in Kauai, specifically around this Nepali coast area. And so a few years ago, I hiked the Nepali coast, and you hike all the way into this like private secluded beach.
That's like it's like a 2-day hike, right?
It was a 2-day hike, man. So getting there is a little treacherous. But when you're there, when I can tell you, it's like the most cliche picture of paradise that like you can imagine. Like serene beach, you're surrounded by these insane green sea cliffs. There's waterfalls. The trees, like the canopy is beautiful. Like the weather is perfect. You watch the sun go down and like you cry. You just cry. It's like the most beautiful thing ever. So I'm sure that, I'm sure I could come up with maybe a better, cooler answer for where I would want to be. But in terms of my life experience so far, that's like the coolest place I've ever been. And that's so dope. If I could have a cup of Vietnamese coffee on the beach in the Nepali coast, watching the sun come up or down for that matter, that'd be a pretty badass day.
Fuck
confirm
yeah,
or
dude.
deny, you'd also have the Jurassic Park theme song going in the background.
My man, not only would I have the theme song going on in the background, I will also have the book in tow. A lot of people don't realize the book is much different than the movie. I don't want to nerd out too much there, but yeah, I'm a big Jurassic Park guy.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
dope. Well,
right on.
Zach, we cannot thank you enough for all the insight, all the amazing viewpoints, the history, all the good thoughts to look forward to. The Nashville, strength coach and the kettlebell concierge, as it were.
Love it, dude. Thank you guys for having me. This is too much fun.
Of course,
yeah, man.
Dude, thank you for making the time. Man, we gotta do it again sometime.
Absolutely. Thanks again.
Sweet, appreciate it, man.
All right.
Until next time, folks. Ciao.
Bye.